Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about another book that I've been wanting to kind of do a little review video about, and that is, to get right into it, ACOTAR, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. This is a romantic fantasy written by her. It's the first part of a 5-book series, which you'll see right here. It was actually written in 2015, so me reviewing a book 7 to 10 years later, shocker, I'm always 1900 years behind. It's actually part of the book talk, and you see it like in every store you go into. I even saw it at like Target and Walmart, so like it's out there, it's very accessible. And usually a lot of people say that it's really good. A lot of people love it. They're very diehard ACOTAR fans and Sarah J Maas fans, and I can see why it would appeal. It is a romantic fantasy, so I am biased in the way that I don't really read romance really, but I like fantasy, and I like when romance is more like a side plot or like a little additive or like a sprinkle of like flavor to something, but not really the main plot of it. But I was like, I gotta give it a chance because it's popular and it seems like a fairly doable book. It's, I think, a little bit over 400 pages, but it's not very dense. It is young adult essentially, and it's very like seamless to kind of get through it. I actually heard that it gets better, and then the first book is very much like a setup. So a lot of people say it's around like a 3.5 stars, and I agree. That's kind of what I gave it. I didn't give it 3 stars, but it's not so much of a 4. It's kind of like an in-between. But again, I've heard it's a very much like, let's set up this Fae world, and then when you get to the next book, A Court of Mist and Fury, it like gets really good. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a chance. The book takes place in Prythian, and Prythian basically is a whole bunch of different courts, and there's courts based on the 4 seasons. So there's autumn court, there is a summer court, a winter court, and then there is a spring court, and spring court is kind of where a lot of this book takes place in. There's obviously a dawn court, a day court, and then for drama, a night court, which is actually very big. It's like the combination of like 3 courts together. We'll see how that plays. There's this wall beneath the spring court which divides the mortal lands where the humans are from the Faes, and that was actually constructed after, it was like half a millennia ago that the Faes actually enslaved the humans. The story follows Fair. So 19-year-old, she's a hunter, kills a wolf in the woods, and then a terrifying creature kind of comes in her front door with her family to demand retribution. Keep in mind, Fair is one of 3 sisters, so she lives with her 2 sisters and her father because her mother died or was killed a long time ago. And her father can't really do much because of an injury. Their sisters are kind of very like more damsels, if you want to call it that, and then she's basically the one who's like, I gotta teach myself to hunt and gather food and do all these things to support my family because that's the promise that I made my mother. And then that's like the driving force for our main character for everything she does. So then because of that, then she's dragged into a treacherous magical land that she knows about only from legends, because again, she's in this southern part of the wall in the mortal lands. So then she discovers that her captor is not truly a beast, but it's actually a lethal, immortal fairy who once ruled the world. And at least he's not a beast all the time, right? Because these Fae are like hundreds of years old, like 500 years or so, and she's like 19. And they shapeshift. But a lot of them in this court are actually covered in masks. That's why it's called like a court or something, like when you go to like a masquerade ball or something, that have been stuck to their faces because of a curse. Her feelings for the fair, Tamlin, transform from an icy hostility into a fiery passion that burns through every lie she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. But something's not right in the fairylands, because you have to get the kids some suspense and some mystery. An ancient wicked shadow is growing, and Fair must find a way to stop it, or doom Tamlin and his world forever. So again, she basically crafts this story. It is very easy to like read through. There's a lot of different things that happen and some good elements. It's just a lot of it for me personally. After like, I mean, I haven't read a lot of fantasy, but I've read a fair amount where a lot of it was just very on the nose, meaning like very like, oh, I can see where this is going. Like, I can tell who she's gonna fall in love with. I can tell who she's gonna hate. There's like this riddle that she has to solve in the end, which I don't want to spoil everything. And it's like, it seems like it's the most impossible thing to figure out, the way that like it's written in the prose and in the narrative of the story and the plot, but it's like, it's so obvious what it is. There are some good elements into it, but it's just kind of, like trite almost. And a lot of the way that she writes certain things it's just very different than what I'm used to. And again, maybe this is what happens more in romance, or maybe this is Sarah J Maas's style. This is the first book that I've read from her, and I've just heard good things. So I got her whole series like at a bargain price because they were used and in great condition. I was like, okay, let's try it. And I mean, it was okay. You know, it was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And like, oh my God, we are recreating the wheel. We have invented the new thing to replace bread or something. It was okay. It was like a 3.7 is what I gave it. So like I just wasn't impressed. I don't hate it. I'm definitely gonna read the second book because again I've heard that's like monumentally better. So we'll see, people, if you have lied to me or not. And I don't want to say it's overhyped yet. Still possible. We'll see, Sarah J Maas, until I finish the series. I don't know if I'll DNF it. I doubt it because I like committing to things and finishing them. But we'll see how it goes. And we'll revisit this once I read the whole series, and then I'll tell you my true thoughts about it. Because again, there's a lot of character development I've heard, and a lot of things get established and expanded upon, and this is just kind of like the foundation. And I can't go and see if I want to buy a house unless I've seen the full completed product with its walls and roof, right? I can just be like, that floor is just okay. So I don't think I want the rest of the house. I want to see the finished product. You know, that's a good analogy. Look at me go. And a lot of people love it, so I want to give them a chance. I'm not the kind of person where, like, if you go to a movie and they're like, that was trash, or Rotten Tomatoes is like, no, it's 60%. And then I'll either read it, the book, or watch the movie, and I freaking love it. So I don't agree too much with, like, everybody's opinions, but I also keep it in the back of my mind, especially, like, good reviews and stuff. And it's very popular, so I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. So that was my very little synopsis. If you want to go grab it, it's probably in, like, pretty much any store that sells a book near you, or ones that you wouldn't think sell a book, like Target or Walmart. And go check it out and let me know what you think in the comments, you know? So please like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you can see me rant about another book and see, is it giving or is it not? So did ACOTAR give? It gave something. It gave me a foundation, and again, I want to see if it gives me walls and a roof, and then I'm in a palace. Or is it just going to give me a hut? Insert shady noise here. Okay, we'll see you in the next video. Zvidanya!